Hello, hello, hello. If there's one thing I love about womanhood, it's getting ready with your girls for a night out or for dinner, just getting ready together, putting on your makeup together, talking about silly little things. So that's what we're gonna do today. This is the kind of mood I'm in. I'm not like casually drinking at 11 a.m. Actually, I'm gonna expose myself. I have trouble reading these kinds of clocks. Me being of this generation, whenever I wanna check the time, I'll look at a proper like digital clock or my phone. I don't read regular clocks super often, so it takes me a second. It's 11:30. As I was saying, I'm not like casually just having a drink at 11:30, which if you are, good for you. But for me, it's just an energy drink. So grab a drink, grab a snack. We're gonna be sitting together, talking, chatting, catching up. I feel like it's interesting because technically I do talk to you all on a very regular basis. I have a podcast where I talk to you every single week. If you don't listen, it's called On My Mind. I talk to you on Instagram all the time, and then I vlog often. But I feel like it doesn't happen a lot where we just sit down and talk one-on-one, especially because I feel like in vlogs, the pace is always so fast and I'm just vlogging what I'm doing. I'm not like sitting down, updating you all. And I feel like there's a lot of things in life recently to catch up on, and I never want to feel distant from you all. Today, we're gonna properly catch up. Might expose myself a little bit. We'll see how saucy I'm feeling. But yeah, vlogs are such a small piece of someone's life because you see maybe 10 to 20 minutes of a week in my life. Do you know how many minutes there are in a week? I don't. 1,440 minutes in a day times 7. 10,000 essentially minutes in a week. You're seeing like 20 minutes of someone's week. There's a lot that you're missing. So I just missed chatting. I'm prepping my skin right now. I first used this Golden Haze face oil. I'll link all these products down below, but when I had my makeup done, she was telling me about this. And essentially there's like a misconception that if you have oily skin, you shouldn't be using oils, but a lot of the times when your skin is oily, it's because it's overcompensating because your skin is actually dry. So anyway, I've been trying this out, and then I'm using like a little serum stick because I have some dry patches. So I'm just prepping my skin. My skin lately, not too bad. I just deal with like a lot of scarring, and I'll have the occasional breakout, especially around my period. Oh, I know my period's coming when I start to feel super ugly. My main issue these days is just scarring, and honestly, it took a while for me to be like, you know what? This doesn't define if I'm beautiful or not, because it got to a point where my self-esteem was getting so low because I had constant acne. It was getting pretty bad. I had like cystic acne and it was just all over my cheeks. And now that has turned into scars. And even when I was going through that, I was like, I don't want something as silly. And I say silly because obviously your feelings are valid if you do have acne. But in my head, I was just telling myself, this is so silly. I don't want to look back on my life one day, be 80 years old, we'll say like 95, on my deathbed and looking back and being like, I spent so many years of my life being insecure and not doing what I want to do and not being happy with myself because of acne. So that's kind of the mindset that I'm at right now. And I don't know, the less power I gave it over myself, this is gonna, bear with me here, I know this sounds crazy, but the less power I gave it over how it makes me feel, one, the less I care about it and the less I notice it, and I swear it's like gotten better because of how much less I focus on it. But anyway, all right, starting off with SPF as always, using Supergoop Glow. I'm tan. I remember when this shade matched me and now it's like a little bit light. I don't know what it is about being tan. I automatically just feel so much prettier when I'm tan, and I feel like my confidence goes up. It's really, you're just playing with fire because I obviously don't want to get too obsessed with getting tan from the actual sun and like not using sunscreen because I don't want 40-year-old me, 50-year-old me to pay the price for that. So that's why we're using SPF. Anyway, I asked you all on Instagram to ask some questions. I said, lay it on me. What do you want to know? So I'm gonna answer those as I get ready. Sometimes reading the questions that you all ask makes me physically laugh simply because the audacity behind some of the questions, honestly, it's very entertaining. I'm like, I don't know what makes some people think I would answer some of the things that you guys ask. Just to keep in mind, my family watches my videos, grandparents watch my videos. There are certain things I will not talk about. Maybe one day, not today. Do you and your boyfriend have plans to move in together? Yes and no. If you listen to the podcast, I feel like you know a lot more about our relationship because I don't post about it as much on Instagram or even YouTube. But because we've done quite a few episodes together, I feel like you guys kind of know more if you listen to the podcast. However, I say yes and no because we definitely do. Not right now, because we're actually gonna be doing long distance really soon, in like a month and a half. He's moving to another island for a job opportunity, which I'm super excited for him. I think it's gonna be super great. He's getting a start on his career, but it does mean we're doing long distance, which, given the long distance isn't anything crazy, like from Hawaii to the East Coast, or I know some people have distances even farther. It's really only just another island, but it's definitely still gonna be a change because I'm used to Micah stays over a lot. You all know I've lived by myself for over a year now. It's always an interesting situation once a partner comes into the picture if you live alone, because it's like you're over a lot, but we're not technically living together. I technically still live alone, but I don't really feel like I live alone anymore. So I feel like the long distance thing is gonna be a little bit of an adjustment for me because I'm used to having him here a lot, which I feel like you don't really see in my videos just because during the week he is obviously at work. And so when I'm vlogging, I feel like you don't really see him too much, but I'm not moving with him to the other island. He's only gonna be there for 11 months for the training to be a firefighter. And then after that, he is actually getting stationed in Maui. So I feel like that's a conversation we've been having where it's like, okay, once he's done with training, which will be like a year from now, what are we gonna be doing? Because at that point we would have done long distance for a year, given I'll definitely visit him a lot, but I wouldn't rule out testing out living on a different island just because I've lived on Oahu my whole life. I've never really had an opportunity to move somewhere else, and I don't think I thought for a long time in my life, well, not for a long time, literally for like 6 months when I was initially planning on moving out, when I still lived at my parents' house, I was like, maybe I'll live in New York for a year. No. The more I visit New York, I love New York so much, but I do not think I don't want to live there. And I feel like my roots here are so deep, but I've also wanted to experience living somewhere else, just getting away. I think it's really important to move out of your hometown. And Oahu's so small, even though I did technically move out of my hometown, I'm like 20 minutes away. So I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be quite the adjustment when he leaves because my in-house chef is going to be gone and I'm gonna have to learn how to feed myself. Yeah, that's kind of where things are at. We'll just take things day by day, see where things go. Like I said, you can only plan things so far ahead into the future because typically things never go quite as you plan them. So I'm just keeping an open mind. Okay, what is your biggest takeaway from your teen years? Honestly, I wish I could tell my teenage self everything's gonna work out how it's meant to work out for you, even if things feel like they're not going your way or that they're going wrong. Even when things go wrong, things are working out for you in a way that you won't understand until later. Hindsight is always the best sight, and I feel like now that I have that now, the things that I used to freak out over in high school and worry about, one, either don't matter now, or two, ended up working out for me in a way that I never would have been able to understand. I feel like it's really easy to get down on yourself when you feel like nothing is going your way and nothing's going the way you want it, but I have a lot of peace going through stuff that I am now, knowing that everything's happening the way it's supposed to. And you know, even if there's like bumps in the road, I know that whatever happens, it's gonna end up working out in my favor. Ava, where the hell have you been, Loca? If you don't get that reference, we have issues because it's a Twilight reference. I feel like I haven't been as active on socials because I'm actually really happy. And it's funny because I feel like in the past, I think I've looked to social media for like external validation and stuff. And now that I don't, I think that's why I don't want to say fell off, but haven't been posting as much. But that's why I'm doing a video like this, because I missed you all and I want to get into my regular scheduled programming of posting every Sunday like I used to. Do you have advice for finding a good balance between independence and being in a relationship? yes, this is something that I feel like I've learned, especially a lot more recently. I feel like initially when you get into a relationship with someone, it's very normal to be attached at the hip, wanting to hang out with them all the time. That's really normal. And honestly, if you're going through that phase right now, enjoy it, because a beginning of a relationship is so fun when you're getting to learn each other and know each other. And I don't know, it's just such a special time, so enjoy it. Don't get mad at yourself if you feel like you spend all your time with someone in the beginning of a relationship. And then I feel like once you get to a certain point, you'll know, whether it's a few months in, half, whatever, everyone's timeline is different. I feel like you'll finally start to be like, oh shit, I have not had my own life really. You have become my whole life. And yes, a relationship is such a big part of your life, but I don't think it should be your whole life. I think having your own things going on, your own friends, your own independence is always so important. I feel like once you get to the point of feeling that, which I feel like the girl who asked this question is kind of feeling, I think it's important to have that conversation with your partner. Tell them how you're feeling. And I don't know, I think open communication is always the best way to do things. You don't want them to think, because if they're not feeling the same way, you don't want them to feel like you're abandoning them. But like I said, having your own things, your own life is so important in a relationship. And I feel like that leads to a lot of longevity in a relationship. You don't want your whole lives to become each other. I feel like flames like that tend to burn out faster. And every relationship is different. But I know for me, I got to that point and we were kind of both like, okay, time to find a better balance of I'll hang out with my friends, you hang out with your friends, sometimes we'll all hang out together. Finding a good balance of that. You definitely don't want to neglect your friendships. I feel like that's something that is very common to happen when you hop into a relationship. You kind of put friendships on the back burner. It's always important to honestly either give them a heads up. I've literally had that conversation with my best friend before of, I don't want you to get mad at me, but like I'm in this new relationship phase. And we were kind of both going through that at the same time. So it worked out perfectly. We were like, understood. I love you still. Enjoy your time. I feel like female friendships, especially, you don't want to lose that. And you don't want your friends to feel like they're a second option. You don't want to be the person who, when they're in a relationship, you ditch all your friends. And then when something goes wrong or you guys break up, you go back. You want to have a good balance in between and make time for other people. So I feel like it's good to, one, talk to your partner about it, and two, find things that you like to do that maybe they don't necessarily want to do, your own hobbies, something that's just your own, something for you to do. Keep taking yourself on dates, do things by yourself, go out with your friends, but just know that you will find your groove. You just have to kind of put in a little effort at first to kind of figure out what that groove is. How do you wear tight shirts without belly rolls showing? Oh baby, my belly rolls do show, and I've learned to just be like, whatever, let them be. And that in itself has probably been the most liberating thing. I used to worry about that so much. I used to worry about that with crop tops or super tight shirts. I'd be like, ugh, when I'm slouching, you're definitely gonna be able to see my belly rolls. See the belly rolls. There's nothing wrong with belly rolls. Belly rolls are cute. Belly rolls are very normal. There's no shame in that at all. And I hate that it's come to a point where we even have to question that, because I've been there too. Let the belly roll show. Different insecurities that you have, no one else is paying as much attention to them as you are. They're usually not paying any attention. Everyone's so internal about themselves. Our minds are our biggest enemy sometimes. It's scary, but also empowering. It's like a double-edged sword. Your mind can be your greatest tool and your greatest asset, or it can be your worst enemy. Have your thoughts changed about having a public relationship? Honestly, no. I still think it's good to keep the majority of a relationship private. People don't need to know private parts of your life, because then it gets picked apart and things can get taken the wrong way. Things are more special when they're private, and I just feel like the more you keep for yourself, the better. Have I shown Micah on social media? Yes. But I still feel like even though I've shown him, there's like a balance, because people don't know about our relationship. They just know that we're in a relationship. Oh, he just Snapchatted me. Look at him working on a car, on a truck. Oh my God, he's so cute. Oh my God, I started drooling. What the Oh God. Someone help me. I am down bad. Oh, I'm gonna replay that and save it. Okay, I'm gonna send a picture of you. Smile. Cute. As I was saying, I honestly feel like this doesn't even go for people who live public lives, like influencers, celebrities, whatever. Even in regular life, it's good to keep details of your relationship private. I don't think, other than you and the person you're in a relationship, other people don't need to know the extra fine details. I feel like there's a big difference between keeping someone a secret and being private about them. And I think the latter is a really good balance. You don't have to keep them a secret. They're not like a secret to be hidden, but you're not gonna air out your whole relationship to people in your personal life, or for me, on the internet. I just feel like it's better that way. I'm gonna put on lip gloss. I'm feeling in a lip glossy mood. Never have I ever been loving lip products as much as I've been loving them recently. I'm using MAC Strip Down Lip Liner, Charlotte's Tilbury Happy Peach, and Merit and Glossier lip gloss. Like, I don't know why I'm doing the absolute most. I'm not even going anywhere today. How do you stop overthinking in a relationship? Good question. I'm still figuring that out myself, but I think a huge factor is being in a relationship with the right person who understands what you're going through. I know for me, when I've gone into the overthinking spiral, I'm very vocal with Micah about it, which I think is really good to have communication about that, because otherwise if you're overthinking and you're not letting your partner know, that's when things just get bad. They can't read your mind. If something's going on, I think you should have a relationship where you can talk about it and they can understand, they can help guide you through it. I feel like a lot of the times overthinking comes from just needing either reassurance or just needing, yeah, honestly, I feel like a lot of overthinking, just you want reassurance from your partner. Even if you know nothing's wrong, it's nice to hear reassurance from them. It's funny, Mike and I have kind of come up with this little trick, because sometimes I'll get into overthinking. Sometimes it's valid. Other times I'm just doing it for no reason, and it's not fun when you overthink. It's not good on your relationship when you overthink a lot. So you've come up with this system, and it kind of turned into an inside joke, but it actually genuinely works now. If he sees this happening to me, he'll literally be like, hey, snap out of it. Everything's okay. And something as little as that snaps me out of it a lot of the times. And if it's something that's a little bit deeper that we need to talk about, we'll talk about it. But it's been so helpful, because sometimes I'm just so in my head, all I need is that little, hey, everything's fine. Everything's okay. You're good. Don't let yourself go down that spiral, because once you start going down that spiral, it's gonna be really hard to dig yourself out. But I've been working on, I don't know, I have recently gotten back into therapy, which has been so nice. And it's something I've been wanting to get back into for a while now. I did therapy for the first time, I think I was 17. I did it for a while, and then the past few years I haven't. Once I stopped, I took like a few-year break. But recently I've started back up again. I'm on like session 4 or 5, and I'm excited to keep doing it because I think there's so much to learn, and especially with the relationship that I'm in, even just for myself and my own life, my own head, it's been so nice to kind of talk about some of the things that are on my mind, on my heart. And her advice to me, I brought up some of the things that I tend to start overthinking about. She was like, at the end of the day, when you're with your partner chooses you. I don't think there's one answer to how to stop overthinking in a relationship. I think you have to recognize when it's happening, snap yourself out of it, take your mind off of it. If something triggers you to start overthinking, put whatever that trigger is away, whether it's something that you saw on your phone or whatever it is, put that away, distract yourself, because typically we just head down that rabbit hole because we just keep getting consumed by it. Also, a lot of the times when we begin to overthink, we're just self-sabotaging, because you make up assumptions in your head, and there's different things that your head is telling you that just cause you to jump from conclusion to conclusion, and that's really scary in a relationship, because you can jump to conclusions that don't even exist. When you're in a relationship, trust the person you're in a relationship until they give you a reason not to trust them. You don't wanna, it's not fun to be in a relationship if you're constantly like, what if they're cheating on me? What if they're being sneaky? No amount of overthinking will stop someone from doing what they're gonna do. And that's not to scare you, but at the end of the day, people are gonna make their own choices. And I don't know, you just can't live a relationship like that, overthinking about it, because what's gonna happen is gonna happen. Assume the best. And I will say, obviously there's certain situations where overthinking is very valid if, you know, there's some shady stuff going on. But if you're in a genuine, good and healthy relationship, your partner has done nothing to lose your trust, you overthinking, you think you're protecting yourself, but you're just sabotaging yourself and your relationship. Have you ever dealt with weight fluctuation? How did you deal with it? It was definitely confusing at first. I feel like after high school, in my early 20s, I hit a second puberty, and then I did research on it and I was like, oh shit, this is actually a thing. Women go through a second puberty where your body really starts to change even more. And for me, it was crazy because I remember being a certain size at the end of high school, and then I went up like 2-3 sizes in jeans, and I was like, what is happening? What is going on? My weight fluctuated a lot. One, I'm gonna say I don't even know my weight anymore because I will not step on a scale and I don't want to. I just know that about myself. But obviously when it comes to sizing, I noticed that my body was changing a lot. Even when I was looking in the mirror, I was like, holy shit, my body has changed a lot. And for me, the biggest thing that helped me deal with that was just being like, this is me, my body becoming a woman. That's literally what it is. My hormones are changing, my body's changing. There's kind of nothing I can do about it, because these are just natural changes that are gonna happen, and I can't expect myself to look like how I did when I was in high school, because when I was in high school, I can't expect myself to look the same as I did in high school. High school is also, I graduated 4 years ago now. I can't expect me to look the same. And I don't know, I feel like I've come to peace with that, especially because I just started looking at it like, okay, I am a lot more womanly looking now, because I am becoming a woman. I'm 22, I'm turning 23 this year. Obviously my body's gonna change. Obviously I'm not gonna look the same as I did when I was 17, and that's okay. Okay, last question, and then I'm gonna shut up and let you get on with your day because I've been talking forever. Advice on not feeling discouraged on where you should be as a 23-year-old. Feeling behind in life in your 20s is so normal because we place all of these expectations and timelines on ourselves, and we should on ourselves, where we tell ourselves, I should be doing this right now. I should be married by now. I should have my career figured out. We should on ourselves. And this feeling of not feeling like we are at where we should be is placed in our head by where we see other people being at who are at the same age or younger. We see people on social media doing things that maybe they're the same age as us or younger than us, achieving things that we haven't yet, and we're like, holy shit, am I behind? But what I like to remind myself is that you cannot be late to your own life. If you start comparing your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 7, obviously you're gonna feel like shit about yourself. It's very normal to feel discouraged. I feel like in our 20s, we have that feeling a lot too, because it's so crazy. In your 20s, I have friends who are around my age who are getting married and having kids right now, and then I have friends who are still in school, have no idea what they're doing. It's such a spectrum in your 20s because everyone's figuring it out as they go. But yeah, you have to believe, you have to know, how many times am I gonna put on blush, that you're not gonna be late to your own life, and things are gonna happen for you when they're meant to, and it's all gonna work out. Shall I put on one more lip product for shits and giggles? Yes, now I'm done. That smells delicious. Oh, thank you for listening to me rant and talk and expose myself a little bit. I hope you enjoyed. If you stayed to this point in the video, you are a real one, and I love you because I know this video is long. Comment down below so I know who stayed. The toilet paper emoji, because I feel like it's really random and weird and no one's gonna get it if they didn't stay till the end. So thank you for staying till the end. Let me know if you like videos like this, if you would like these little catch-ups, little Q&A type videos to be its own separate video like how I did for this, or if you want to see them more in the vlogs. But I will see you next week. I'm gonna be back on my Sunday upload bullshit, and if I'm not, come at me in my Instagram DMs nicely. I'm sensitive. Bye.